about. I'm going to talk about like what the topic is supposed to be, steps to integrate AI into your product strategy. Because this is the important piece, right? This is what we want to think about. Again, I want to start with this very simple thing. AI is just another piece of technology. What you need to do is you need to think about what the use case is, what the business benefit is, and then think about how is it that if you bring that thing in, would add value to your organization. If it does not add value to your organization, then do not integrate it with your product strategy. You don't need to do it. Even in peer pressure, if it costs you a lot of money to do it, and that's more than your revenue, you are not going to be successful as well. So think about all that. So the first part starts exactly there, right? Identify opportunities for AI integration. So you need to do a thorough analysis of your current product lineup. Where is it? Anomaly detection we were talking about, right? Anomaly detection is something that happens on a day-to-day basis in across any organization that has a matured cybersecurity or an information security presence. But what? How many new threats have come in over a period of X months, X years, X weeks, X hours, X days? You need to be able to understand that part and see whether you need to bring in AI, because there are things which are getting out of hand. The threat actors are becoming smarter by the day. So maybe it is more than human intervention that you needed. You have to identify pain points and areas of improvement in user experience that you do on a regular basis across any product, AI or non-AI. You have to analyze your competitor products and market trends. I spoke about this, right? Market trends will have products which are smaller products, smaller organizations, SaaS-based products, which have built AI capabilities, who are ready to sell it to you. See whether buying it from them is going to work for you, whether integrating your data into them is going to work for you, whether buying that organization, if it's a smaller organization, right, whether buying them and integrating them within your organization is a feasibility or possibility or not. Those are some very important pieces, right? Brainstorm potential AI applications with cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams is the keyword over here, because you yourself are not the smartest person in the room. They're amazing data scientists, they're amazing engineers who are there as well. What you do is you do all the 4 or 5 steps ahead, the ones that we have talked about here. You do those 3 or 4 things, and then you bring this analysis across to everybody, and they're going to tell you, Ankur, you're acting stupid, you're talking stupid right now. The cost of doing this is going to be much more than what the threat actor would cost. But you should have the analysis. If there was one threat that comes to us, it's going to cost us in a reputational value so much amount of money. And that's when everyone says, oh, Ankur, you make sense. Let's go ahead and do it. Or let's buy it. Let's build it. Those things need to be understood. Prioritize opportunities based on potential impact and feasibility. Potential impact can be called out. Like as product managers, we are very smart. We can say, oh, it's going to cost it $5 billion. And maybe we can do the mathematics and prove that out as well. But the feasibility of integrating it is also an important necessary factor that you will not do alone. You will do it with the cross-functional teams as well. So leverage that help, identify the opportunity, and only then go ahead and start looking to integrate. Assess data requirements and availability. And we have harped over this fact multiple times. How are you going to leverage AI and ML and NLP and deep learning? How is it? If you have enough data in the right format, you might have structured data, unstructured data. There is work that needs to be done. You want to send all that data to a DB. You want to send that to a data lake. You can process 1 million records. You can process 10 million records. What is it that you can do? You need to understand your data infrastructure. So I think one of the questions from a B2B product manager perspective as well, right, that came up. You are evaluating, you're seeing whether all that exists or not within your organization. Because your data needs to be available, one. The second important part is needs to be secure. You also need to understand the gaps within the data. Because building AI, like doing the feature is not the difficult part. Doing the legwork is the difficult part. You need to have a data strategy to address the gaps that exist. And the privacy and regulatory implications in data collection and use is another important piece. From a B2B perspective again, right? Just talking about that point in B2B or B2C. If you are going to interact with a vendor outside or a customer outside, or you're going to leverage some other organization's data, whether you are allowed to collect their data and act on it or not, that's an important piece of information. If you're only acting on data that's available within your organization, which is legitimately to be used, and there are no gaps in it, you could build a product. You could do anything that you want to do with it. Choose appropriate AI technologies. Now, again, as product manager, you should be aware what the problem statement is. You know where the data is. You need to understand what is it that I need to implement. And I spoke about this part, right? Consider both off-the-shelf AI services and custom development options as well. Do not look to build everything. Think from the perspective of what is it that I can build versus what is it that I can buy. Also, right, if you are part of a smaller organization that has 100 employees and 1,000 customers, you may look for a smaller AI solution. You know that in 5 years, you only want to scale to 200 employees and 5,000 customers, a smaller solution would work. But for a retail giant, for the Amazons of the world, the Walmarts of the world, a small AI solution will not work. It should be scalable. You should understand that what is going to be the cost of doing all this on a longer term basis as well. Your annualized costs. You also need to understand the real impact of doing that work on a year to year basis as well. Let's say you do a use case in year one, you have leveraged the max on it. In year two onwards, it has gone business as usual. So what happened to the models and the money that you are spending on it? So if you could do it without an AI model, without leveraging an AI technology, that would work for you as well. Not because it's fancy that you should use AI. Develop a roadmap for implementation. Again, what I'm talking right now, the 4 steps that I've talked about has not really anything to do with AI in general, right? AI is a keyword that's probably added to every step for a simple reason that I myself see AI as an enabler to do product work, engineering work that allows you to do something in a more structured, faster, predictive way. And that's what I've written down in these points. Create a phased approach for AI integration, set clear measurable objectives, allocate resources and budget for AI initiatives, establish timelines and plan for iterative development. I'm making it sound simple for the reason that doing all of this from a product management is the simpler part. The difficult part is the first 2 steps that I talked about, identifying the opportunity and then seeing whether your data is there or not and whether it's in the right capacity or not. Build or acquire necessary capabilities. We spoke about it. Assess your team's current AI expertise. If you do not have the engineers to do it, if your product managers do not have that capability, maybe you need to train them. You need to do certain things, and that's going to help you out. Invest in AI training and education for your team. Consider hiring AI specialists or data scientists if needed. I totally feel the most important people are data scientists because they are the ones who are going to make heads and tails out of your data, give you something which is going to be amazing, and then you feel, oh, this is what I wanted to do, or this is the impact that I wanted to make. Again, make versus buy is a critical piece of information as well in this. Develop a data pipeline and infrastructure. Why this is important? Because ultimately, as a product manager, you're going to build a UI to the AI at the backend. So the backend is going to have whether you're going to put data into a data lake, how is it that your data structured, unstructured, whether data quality is good, how is it that you're going to implement data governance and security measures, and then how is it that you're going to label your data in a way that if somebody else within the organization wants to use that data, how is it that they'll be able to do it? So I am a big proponent of thinking platform. So if you're able to build something that your whole organization can use, it's going to make more sense as well. So always think from that perspective, because if you build an AI-based feature for yourself, which somebody else cannot leverage, for me, it's a fail. Prototype and test AI enhanced features. Do your proof of concepts. You can perform A/B tests to compare AI enhanced features with traditional approaches. That's a very important piece, right? Because as I said, year one, you implemented something, you leveraged AI, you did wonderfully well. Year two onwards, there is nothing and you are just incurring costs. So rather think about whether if I do it without AI, whether it's going to make sense for me or not as well. You iterate, you take your user feedback, do your performance results, and be smart about how you do it. Plan for scalability, design your AI systems with scalability in mind. And I spoke about it in the past. Easily, if there is a way for you to build for future, for build for platforms, for build for extensive teams, do it. Because that is where you add value. Because the cost of building once is high, the cost of building twice is higher. So build it once, build it in a way that everybody can use it within the organization. And you, once building, you think from a platform approach. If there are failures, you're able to catch them. Continue to build on edge cases as well. Make sure that whatever you're building makes totally valuable sense for everybody as well. Address ethical and legal considerations. I'm going to spend some time talking about these points, right? Because every organization in today's world, this was one of the questions as well. Can I use AI to write my PRDs, my requirements? Is it okay? You have to develop guidelines for responsible AI use in your products. You cannot have voice generation for your boss in a way that the voice generated can say, all of you have a holiday tomorrow and no need to come, because that's going to have a bigger impact, a worse impact to the organization than anything else. So be smart about it, be responsible. There are other use cases that might mess things up. Ensure compliance with relevant AI regulations and data protection laws. You have to ensure that, let's say, data within US has to be stored for 7 years, for example. In India, I'm not sure what that specific law is, how many years you need to save it for. But there should be a proper way. The labeling of data is important. If you were to do it for a B2B organization or you were to do it for a government organization, you would have to think about it a lot more, because a bigger amount of data is at stake. Also, you need to follow your regulations well. Establish an AI ethics committee or review process, right? So your organization culture is the important piece in building AI. It is not a single person who can build AI in an organization and say, done, ho gaya. That does not work. It only works in the way that the organization had decided that we want to adapt AI, adapt to AI, and adopt AI. That somebody starts building that culture. There are teams that need to be built who start seeing it as a holistic thing. And then you'll be able to build your products on top of it. Prepare for organizational change. Communicate the AI strategy across the organization. A single person does not do it. You need to have probably a platform if you to think about it. Manage expectations and address concerns about AI integration. Provide training and resources and foster a culture of innovation and continuous learning. If all that is set up, if there is a push, competitive analysis has been done, we know I'm at organization X and organization Y, there are people who have started doing it, and their market analysis shows that they are doing amazingly well, I think the organizations are going to push for it much more. And then launch and iterate. These steps are not different from what you would do for a non-AI product as well. The things that are different is how do you identify the opportunity? How is it that you go forward? Build your data pipelines, build your data infrastructure. Organizationally, how is it that you change, build that change management plan? And then rest of it is very similar to how you would do it for a regular product. Remember again, a single person cannot drive AI within an organization, because there is data involved in